Happy New Year! I hope it's a great one for everybody out there. This video I really wanted to get out at the end of the year, but I just couldn't seem to finish it in time. Nevertheless, it's an exciting video where I take a trip back and look at all the highlights of 2024 with some unseen footage. I also end the year with trying something new and going analog for the very first time. It's the last challenge of the year and the theme is redo. And since I had the roll of 24 in Japan and I theoretically cheated that challenge, I thought I'll do it properly this time. So I got my dad's old film camera, an old lens lying around, so no choice there. It's a wide angle, 10 to 20 mils, but I see that there's a bit of vignetting, so I think I'm probably going to shoot about 17 to 20 mils most of the time. I've done some research, watched some YouTube videos, and I loaded a Kodak gold film, and we are in Dubai's Al Fadi area. So I'm going to try and photograph a few of these stunning architecture for my photo this week. It's the end of 2024 and there's been a few bumps in the road, as I think most of us would have. But I wanted to make this video not only for me trying something new, which is film photography. Fun fact, it was my first 5 film photos I've ever taken. Scary to think that I've never had the opportunity before. But I wanted to focus on 2024's good things that happened. It's so easy to focus on all the negative, and there has been, like I said, a few bumps in the road. I'm not going to delve into most of them. It's quite personal, and then also some close friends and family lost people very close to them. So it's easy to lose track and say, this was a crappy year. So I'm going to start at the beginning of the year, which was a big one for me. My photo got exhibited at the London Photography and Video Show. It's the first photo I've ever had that got exhibited, and quite a big deal. So I know this comes at the risk of sound like I'm bragging, but it's really not. It's just, it was a big achievement for me. Then there were other things, some big, some small. Big ones was the race Tashish and myself did. Were on Sheikh Zayed, where we were part of, I think, 278,000 people or something. It was a mind bender at how many people showed up. And we got to walk a 10K on the biggest road in Dubai.
I'm dancing till the sun comes up. I don't care what's in my cup. Tonight I'm doing what I want, what I want. I'm sorry I'm not heading home. I feel so good on my own. We'll take your pick and video on my phone. I wanna see you drop to the beat in the club. Don't wanna see you stop, move your feet, turn it up. I wanna see you drop down, it goes, take a shot. Don't wanna see you stop,
also been a year of a lot of firsts. Obviously, I started this YouTube channel, and that was a big one for me. With my lisp, I've always had issues, and I really had to overcome it. Because while editing, you have to listen to your voice over and over and over again. And that's how I came to grips with my lisp. Other than that, we got to explore Japan. That video is coming quite soon. I'm still working on that, so keep watching my channel for that. And they were inside of Japan, there was a lot of fish, and some small, like eating ramen for the first time. I really enjoyed that. So far, the biggest challenge is to actually keep looking at my settings. I got so spoiled with my mirrorless because the moment you look through the viewfinder or at the screen at the back, you can see if your photo is overexposed or underexposed. Then it's the focusing, because I'm used to the little touchscreen at the back to find the focus point that I'm really looking at. Once again, I've got no idea if any of these photos is going to be worth anything. But that's the beauty of film photography, is to see what I come up with. For me, I'm a little bit, I want to say scared, because this will reveal if I'm actually a good photographer or not. Most of my photos, and I'll be the first to admit it, relies quite heavily on editing. I love the editing process, so I edit quite a bit. So it's remove that little CCTV camera there, or get the alignment of the building straight so it's not crooked, or remove that little piece of lettering, enhance the highlights a bit, or the other way around. So this is going to be pure straight out of camera, and I'm really holding thumbs that I do get something I'm proud of with my first roll of film. I know I'm a bit all over this morning because it's like taking a recap of the year, and I'm between the past and where we are currently. So I'm quickly going to jump back to 52 frames itself. And that is that I've submitted my 4th year 52 frame, or whatever you want to call it, last week. And the thing about 52 frames, it's so much more than just a photo a week. It gets me to places like this. It gets me to take photos in a way I wouldn't necessarily. I'm able to push myself a bit further and challenge myself with things I don't think I'll normally do. Another big thing for this year, and another huge highlight, was family. I'm going to package it in family. And that was, we got to do our Botswana trip with my parents, which we've been talking about for years in the making, and it was a great trip. We got to see all of our parents. We got to get together. I just quickly have to interrupt myself here. This was one of those magical moments I actually kind of forgot about and came across while editing my footage. And I just thought I have to include it because looking back, that was one of the best moments of 2024. And that was when I surprised my parents with a visit, which they didn't expect. And my mom's expression was absolutely priceless. She's gonna kill me for using this piece of footage, but I don't care, it's my video.
Dus ik kan niet wachten om hem te zien.
Okay, back to my initial thoughts. My family, with my sister and my brother in law, with their kids, Tertius, my parents, all got together, although it was for only a few years, few minutes actually. It was the first time in I think like 7 or 8 years that we managed to align everybody's schedules to be together in one room again. We had a great trip with Tertius's mom to Magalies. I got to visit my niece and nephew in Mauritius, and it was really just a great family year in that aspect that I got to pack in so much family time, although I'm living abroad, my sister's living abroad, and we are set apart. The other thing was Tertius's middle brother Bernard came to visit us, so it really has been a great family year. So while I was shooting the photos and doing my bits and bobs of talking head and telling you about the year and what I'm attempting here, we got approached by two security guards. The first one was actually really nice, and he asked, is it for personal use or for commercial use? We said, well, it's first of all film photography, and second of all, it is for personal use. And he was totally fine, no problems. So we went about our business. Not long afterwards, a second security guard approached us, and he was actually the complete opposite. It was just like, no, you can't use that camera. Phones, once again, more than happy to use that, but anything that looks like a professional camera is not allowed. So I'm back in the car, and I thought I will finish it up in here. I've still got a few photos left, so we'll probably head to Trusty Dubai Mall to finish out the roll of film, and then we'll go and hand that in. So I'm gonna end off with my highlights of the year. There's not much left, although I'm sure there is a lot more of the little pieces in between, but then this video can become really long. But I want to finish it out, and I must be honest, none of this were in any logical order. It's just how they came to mind. Not necessarily from the biggest event to the smallest, it's just how they came to mind. So the last two I want to point out was Singapore. Singapore was unexpected, and it was actually a work trip Tertius did, and then we got to see it on our way back from from Japan again, very briefly. And Singapore was amazing. It was my favorite video of the year also. I still have to make Japan, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to beat Singapore's video. And then the other thing we did is, and this is a selfish one, but we converted our guest room into an office/studio for me. And once again, it's going to sound selfish, but I'm really glad we did it. We spent so much time there. Not that I didn't think of a guest coming to visit. We did put in a sleeper count. Nobody has come to test it out just yet. But yeah, it's quite nice to have my own space to pack out all my cameras. And whenever I'm doing my videos especially, I've got camera gear, it's mics, it's cords lying around, there's chargers, and it's not impacting the rest of the house. I can just close the door and it's my space. And then the last one, and this isn't really a highlight, it's more like the icing, not really the cherry, the icing, what makes it so much sweeter. And that is doing all of this with my husband, and him always being there and supporting me, shooting a lot of the behind the scenes footage that you saw throughout my videos this year. So yeah, it's always really nice to have him part of my trips, my adventures, and everything I do. What was your highlight of the year?
How do you choose one?
Okay, you can choose 3. Quick, quick.
Quick.
Quick, quick.
Botswana, Singapore, and Japan.
There you have it. All our travels wrapped up in one. For me, I must say the race was quite a highlight as well. I have to bring that up again. But once again, thanks for doing everything with me. It's always so much fun. Okay, over and out. We're heading to the Dubai Mall to finish up this roll of film. This is my other challenge. I'm so used to my little flip screen that I can just flip over and see what it sees. But with this, I'm solely responsible for the little viewfinder. So it's quite difficult to get the angle right, get low, without my little flip screen that I can see. So kudos to all those old school photographers out there. Dubai Mall seems to be a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I've still got 11 photos left, but I'm struggling to find a composition that's not touristy and creative. And I love doing those types of photography, usually with my zoom lens, because then I can pocket out the little details and it's not the most obvious. Whereas with the basically 20mm I'm shooting, it's very wide, so people walk into my frame. It's a predictable Burj Khalifa, so I'm struggling a bit with finding the composition, but I'm gonna persist until this roll of film is full and we can go and hand it in for development. Okay, so I've received my email with my Google Drive link to my photos I took yesterday. And I thought it would be fun to get a real-time reaction to my photos I've taken. My initial thought was that I think there's going to be a lot of blurry ones, and I still do think so, because one time I lost my balance while taking a photo. Some of the other times I fell into the trap of not checking my settings properly and taking the photo, and then the shutter was too slow. The moment I pressed the button, I knew the shutter was going to be too slow. Well, was too slow. And then after I spoke to my dad, he says, yeah, you might get a few blurry ones, but I don't think that's your biggest problem. I think your biggest problem is going to be the exposure. Because apparently the light meters in those days weren't that great. So they used to use, I can remember that when I was still in school. My dad always had a grey card in his camera bag, and he used that to expose his photo. Or obviously the light meter, but I didn't have either of them, so I kind of relied on the built-in light meter. So let's see, I'm going to open them up and you'll see my first reactions as I see the photos live. Turns out both my dad and myself were wrong. So I got my dad's old film camera, an old lens lying around. Remember this? I see that there's a bit of vignetting, so I think I'm probably going to shoot about 17 to 20 mils most of the time. Well, it turns out, after I saw all of my photos, we did a bit of research. And the lens that I put on my camera was actually made for a crop sensor and not a full frame / film camera. Thus, the vignetting was bad. But I tried to edit out most of the whining about the vignetting in my initial reactions to the photos. I've learned a huge lesson here, and that is that it doesn't mean that if the lens fit, it's actually made for the camera. Well, I can see the little thumbnails while I'm busy downloading them. Some of them I'm like, what the hell? But then the others that I see thus far, on first glance, doesn't look that bad, but we'll take a look now once they were downloaded. Ah, there they go. Okay, let's see, opening that. let's go and have a look what I took with my first ever film. But there something started happening. Okay. Oof, I thought the vignetting weren't that bad because I knew I could see through the lens that the lens would vignette because it was a very wide lens, and I tried to stay within the 70 to 20 millimeters to avoid that vignetting, but apparently I still managed to get some of that in here. Yeah, not too bad. A bit skew, if I have to be honest. This one I actually quite like. The exposure weren't too bad. Once again, a lot of vignetting, but it doesn't matter that much in this photo because the foreground is quite dark. And the pigeon. This is quite cool and gritty. The other thing my dad actually said, you've got no extra metadata on these photos. You know what the ISO was, because that's obviously what the film was. You don't know what millimeter you shot at, you don't know what your f-stop or your shutter speed was, so there's no way of going back and figuring out what your mistake was. I think I read an article or listened to a podcast or something of one of the photographers that I follow. I can't even remember who it was. And they used to write down their data so they could know what the mistakes were that they made. It's not too bad. This one isn't too bad. Once again, just the vignetting, and I really tried to avoid that, but oh well, one of the mistakes, and so far it's not that bad, in my opinion. Somebody else might think otherwise, but this one isn't that great. This one actually took me quite a while, and now I can see that I still managed to get the CCTV camera because I wanted to capture the door as well as the light, but without the drone, which I did manage to capture, and without that, but yeah, because I wanted to frame it with the tree. That one is a bit better, I suppose. Okay. It's quite cool. Oh, this is really cool. I must be honest, considering it was like concrete blocks and they had these circles in, and I shot through that. I wanted somebody to pass through. I think that would have made a cool photo, but it was quietish, so there weren't a lot of people around. But considering, I think the exposure came out actually quite cool. And I got my butterfly. That's so cool, because I just took the video of the butterfly, so I'm really glad I got that. But I like the film. I will definitely use the film again. I'll just, maybe Tarsus isn't gonna like this thought a lot, but I will save up for it. Maybe just buy myself another lens for this camera. Maybe like a walkabout 24 to 105, or even just a nifty 50, just to have something else, because vignetting is what I think spoiled most of my photos, and I wanted that little bit closer range. This one I knew was going to be a blurry one. It's the Tiffany's Breakfast Cafe in Dubai Mall. You can actually see through these glass cubes, but it's, you could say it's abstract, but no, it's just a blurry photo. Some of the Christmas decorations. Okay. Some indoors of Dubai Mall. I have to be honest, I struggled quite a bit at Dubai Mall. I was a bit over it. The crowd, although it doesn't look like it, it was quite busy there, and I didn't feel like I wanted to photograph the older looking buildings with the older film and the older technology of the film. And yeah, so the Dubai Mall I just didn't feel, and it felt like a lot of touristy kind of shots because I was taking with a wide angle. But yeah, I wanted to finish the film because I am running against the timeline. Yeah, nice touristy shot of the Burj Khalifa. Nothing fancy, but I'm saying that. But if you look at the grain and the color of the bridge here, it's actually something different to what I've taken with all of my photos and cameras cameras I've had to in the past. This is a different look to it. Nah, pretty meh. I can crop this if I just crop that part out. Once again with later technology, and I can probably insert it into Photoshop and do it, but that's really not the point of this exercise. So I'm going to submit the photo as is. I'm not going to do any adjustment. I don't think I'm even going to crop. I think I'll use one of the ones that I framed through something. And but yeah, because this one, I think I would have loved to remove those people if it was with my other camera, but I'm not gonna in this one because this little girl was dancing quite a bit and in the center of the circle, so it was nicely framed. I'll definitely get myself another lens if I want to continue with the film photography. I'll definitely do it again. It was actually so much fun. This is the one where I lost my balance. Actually not that blurry as I thought it would be, but not really what I wanted to capture either. Oh, this was something I wanted to end with poetically, as in we always take selfies with our phone, and I tried it with the film camera and it came out so much better than I thought. My first ever film selfie. Love it. And then this one, I wasn't sure if the film would finish because I knew I was at the end of my roll. But yeah, and then once I clicked this photo, it grrred and rolled up the film. So this weren't really that planned, but not too bad. After everything, I don't think it came out that bad. The blurriness, not much. There was a few in the beginning that I'm not sure what I did there. But not that bad. The vignetting was the biggest part, but I know that's the lens. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll submit my photo now. It's been a year, and I encourage each and every one of you to go back to your year and go find the good in it. Go look at your photos. See what did you accomplish. Was there any self-growth? Any of that can be highlights of the year. And with that, I would also encourage you to try something new. If you're a photographer, 52 frames is my go-to recommendation. Thank you all for watching this channel, and I hope 2025 I'll be able to share even more. I'll end my video with a few of my favorite photos taken in 2024. I always love to hear your comments and your favorite photos. And you can even comment about the film photos, although all of them had really bad vignetting. What was your favorite? Thank you, and I'll see you next time.